How do you treat photography clients as a professional photographer? This is the topic we're going to be covering in today's video, and I want to give you some advice, some pointers, some help on what you can do before the shoot, during the shoot, and after the shoot to create the best client experience. I decided not to do this in chronological order, but to jump back and forth a little bit between the points to keep the video interesting for you. So let's dive right in. So the first point I want to cover is creating a good customer or client experience actually starts with your offer. Having a clear core offer or a package that is your signature package and that tells the clients exactly what you're going to be doing together, like how long you're going to be shooting together, how many pictures they're going to get in the end, and what to expect from the day of the shoot will make all your communication with potential clients and with actual clients so much easier. I recommend having a section on your website where it clearly states what your core offer is and where the clients can get an orientation on the price point before they get in touch with you will make the entire process just so much more smooth. Point number 2 is all about communication. In my experience, clients reach out to me via Instagram, LinkedIn, and through my website. Some get a contact from somebody else and write me a WhatsApp message, or they write me an email directly. What I try to do and what I can recommend to every professional or aspiring professional photographer out there is to respond to these messages ASAP. I know we live in an age where constantly bombarded with communication, and it's easier said than done if you're living a busy life. But if you want to do this professionally and be a professional photographer, I can recommend to be really responsive to your clients at all points throughout the customer journey. What I love to do is to respond to their message as quickly as possible and to schedule a discovery call. And this leads to the third point on my list and my third point of advice, and that is to be the expert and to take responsibility. I know a lot of photographers who are frustrated about their clients and they say things like, oh, they don't really know what they want. They're constantly changing their mind, or they're asking for things that I don't want to give them. And actually to this, I say, talk to the client in person. That could be via phone or Zoom call, or actually meet them for a coffee and be the experts who guides them through the entire process by their hand and actually recommends to them what it is that they need. So by talking to them, you kind of want to feel out what their actual goals are with these photos. What are their fears about a photo shoot? What are their pain points or maybe negative past experiences with photo shoots or photographers? You want to suss out all the information that you can possibly get and then craft the perfect solution, the perfect offer for them. Setting up a call or a meeting also creates the perfect basis to actually start a relationship with the client and for both parties not to stay anonymous or keep hiding behind emails and words. But before I move on to the next point, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want me to make more content just like this one, please give the video a little like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. The next point on the list is all about how to send the selected photos from the photo shoot to your client. And again, the question is, what is the most professional way? And I would say don't send JPEGs as an attachment to an email, don't send a Google Drive, and don't send a WeTransfer. And actually, this is where today's sponsor of this video comes in, and that is PicDrop. PicDrop is an amazing tool for all photographers who work with clients because it lets you create personalized galleries for each photo shoot and for each selection that you have. I personally have been using the tool since the very beginning of my photography career, and I continue to use it and love it so much. The basic version of PicDrop is completely free forever, and you can create 3 galleries and have storage of 1 gigabyte. I personally use the Freelance Pro version where I have unlimited galleries and a lot more storage because I basically use it for every single shoot that I do. And I also use it to store some of my work when I'm traveling abroad. So basically how I use it is to upload my selection for the client into a personalized gallery. I make it beautiful for the client so they have a great experience while looking through the photos and marking up their own selection. And they can use little colored flags to basically narrow down what their favorites are, and then mark their final selection as final, which prompts PickDrop to give you a little notification via email so you can see the client is done and it has marked up all their final pictures, and you can start with your editing and retouching. I love that clients can leave comments for every single photo to ask for changes or ask questions, and they can even draw into the pictures and mark up any little thing that they want edited out or that they want changed. And this makes communication with clients so much faster and easier. You don't have to be emailing back and forth. You can just do everything in PickDrop. I wholeheartedly recommend for you to try PickDrop. It's completely free, and I'll post a link in my description box so you can check it out. And I thank PickDrop for sponsoring this segment of the video. Now on to the next point. So for the next section, I want to talk about how to treat photography clients on the day of the shoot and how to behave professionally. So the first point in this section is do not be on time, but be early. It is your job as a photographer to show up early to each and every shoot that you are doing, because you need to be preparing the location. You need to run through the list of points and the schedule. You need to maybe talk to your assistant. You need to prepare all the gear and test everything, that everything is working properly. And only then should the client be arriving to the shoot, once you're already calm, collected, cool, prepared, and not scrambling or confused. So you can actually focus entirely on the client and the energy, create a good energy in the room when they arrive. Speaking of energy and professionalism, the next point I want to mention is that you should be dressing well for the occasion. For me, it's a point of respect to dress well for the client and to show up dressed up for the job. And I don't mean that you need to be wearing like a suit or a ball gown, obviously, but also don't be wearing your like oldest t-shirt and like jogging pants. Choose some nice, comfortable clothes that still make you look dressy and professional, especially if you're working with business clients. Then I would even recommend to wear maybe some business attire yourself, maybe a white, crisp shirt if you're showing up to somebody's workplace and you need to be looking respectful and to sort of blend in with the environment and not like stick out too much. Another really crucial point for the day of the shoot is to be constantly thinking of consent. Taking somebody's pictures and having your picture taken is somewhat of an intimate experience, so consent does play a role. For instance, if you want to be touching your client to position them, to maybe take some hair out of their face or to touch up their makeup or anything like that, you need to be asking for consent before you touch them, because some people maybe don't want you to touch them. They want to fix something themselves or they just don't feel comfortable. So don't just jump to conclusions and assume that because it's your job and because you're working with them, you can just lay your hands on them, because actually this is very disrespectful. And sometimes I see people do that and they just kind of assume it's okay. But I think it's a big, big no-go in our job. Another tip that I want to share is that you should be in charge on the day of the shoot, but that you should be collaborating with the other person. So yes, a lot of it is your responsibility and you're in charge. So you're in charge of the time schedule. You're in charge of saying when you have enough of something or that you need something more, but also think of it as a collaborative process and actually get your client involved. Maybe from time to time, show them the pictures that you're creating, ask for their opinion, ask if they want to do something differently, or if they have maybe an idea, a post, something in mind. So it should be like a giving and receiving of ideas, but ultimately you are in charge that everything goes well. The next point that's very important is for you to set clear boundaries with your client. And this is important at two stages of, actually maybe at all stages of the collaboration, but especially before the shoot and after the shoot. I recommend getting a deposit before the shoot from the client of maybe 50% of the price, and also send them your terms and conditions to which they basically agree when they pay the deposit. Maybe you also send them an offer or a contract where you specify how long the shoot will be, how many pictures they will be getting in their selection gallery, how many final images they can receive, and how they can use those images. So it's important to define usage rights. I have had a lot of clients ask me to provide more pictures after the shoot because they liked a lot more than the agreed upon number. I have had clients ask me to provide them with unedited, unretouched pictures and stuff like that. You will know the common kind of problems and requests. And this is all fine. As I said previously, they are not the expert, but you are. So you need to gently and kindly explain to them what your boundaries are, what you can provide, at which extra cost maybe, how much time it will take you. And for me, for example, I make it very clear that I do not provide any unedited, unretouched pictures because I don't want any pictures that I made out in the world that don't represent the final version of my work. If you have questions about any of the points and advice that I mentioned, please ask them in the comments below. And if you maybe strongly disagree with me or you agree with me, I would be happy to also read from you in the comments. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.